Susul. Welcome to Under the Plumb Bob, the podcast about all things related to the EA Maxis series of games called The Sims. We avoid the real world by talking about our made-up ones. Each episode will focus on one of several rotating themes, including building, gameplay, lore, and more. Alright, so I'm Jane. You guys haven't heard from me in a while. It's been a minute. My podcasting skills are a little rusty, so if I sound a little bit like I'm not quite on the same planet as everybody else, that will be why.
Nah, you're good. This is Melissa, friendly neighborhood editor and host of Social Bunny.
And I'm Jessica.
All right.
We're back. It's a full Social Bunny power hour you're about to hear.
Rock on.
Woohoo!
Yeah, and appropriately so, because there's some big news. I mean, it's not any, surprising news, but there's a birthday going on around this time of year.
It sure is.
Boo-boo Bruce Badu!
That's Happy Birthday, The Sims, in Simlish, apparently. So that's really cool.
Wait, my horn!
Yeah!
She has a horn!
I debated actually singing that in, the Happy Birthday tune.
Ooh, boo, Rose Badu. Ooh, boo, Rose Badu. It works. So, yeah, The Sims is 20 years old, which makes me feel a million. So, that's fine.
Uh-huh.
It really does. It's kind of weird for me because it makes me feel simultaneously very old and very young because I'm about to turn 26 in July, which is insane to me. And then also, I've literally, The Sims has been alive and a thing almost as long as I've been alive. That's bananas to me.
Yeah, no, same. We're around the same age, and that is bonkers. But yeah, the birthday date, we are past it now at the time of listening to this, but it was February 4th, 2020, 20 years of The Sims. And we actually, the community, got a birthday gift out of The Sims birthday.
We did. We got an interesting hot tub for free. And I believe it's kind of similar to one that came in a pack, I believe.
Yes.
It was from, whichever one had the hot tubs that came with it. I think it was backyard stuff or something. Somebody said that the hot tub they gave us was basically the same one as in the backyard stuff pack, but with a roof canopy thing on it. So
yeah, it's got a roof canopy and it's got a lot of green plumb bobs on it, which is a design choice a la The Sims. In my opinion, it's ugly as sin, but I appreciate the gesture. EA Maxis.
Yeah. Free item.
The canopy's kind of cute. Yeah, I'll take a free item.
This is, the way I look at it, it's this is why we have people who know how to recolor CC and stuff. It's if you don't like a print on a base game object, it's you go over to Spoonflower and you go to Sims 4 Studio, you slap that shit on in Photoshop and you're in business, So
yeah, because I get it. But also, where would I use that in?
I get it. I think it's meant to just be a gimmicky kind of item. My thing is, with it, I don't even necessarily have an issue with it. It's just that for me, I prefer my worlds to be a little more realistic. And that's I don't have Sims themed apparel or merchandise in my houses or families. Cause it's for me, that just breaks the fourth wall, I guess is the best term.
Totally. Fair and valid. But as Jess said, it's true. It's a free item.
Yes.
I'm happy with it. So with this gift, some infographics and data kind of came out. Maxis, as a promotional thing, kind of gave us some Sims by the numbers. I love these. I love facts. I love, infographic data. This is hysterical. Did you know there have been 4 games, obviously, and over 75 packs of content?
That's crazy.
Probably spent too much money on.
That is bananas to me. Seeing it actually laid out like that, it's oh yeah, I guess there has been 75 packs because you notice, I'm not saying this is a bad thing, but with every game, they repeat some of the similar themes, which makes sense. But that's so much. 75 across 4 games. That's how many packs per game? Hang on, I'm gonna do the math on this because that's nuts to me. Okay, let's see. 75 divided by 4, 18.75. So let's round that up to 19. That's almost 20 packs per game.
I mean, we're part of the sickness, so
Yeah.
Yeah, we're enabling
Yep. That's all the expansions, that's stuff packs,
so much.
all kinds of stuff.
you got over 1.6 billion Sims created. That includes 6.9 million vampires, 1 million mermaids, which kind of impressive given that mermaids were in 3
they were
as well. But
Yeah.
1 million mermaids and 207,000 aliens.
Wow.
Aliens not getting a lot of love compared to your vampires and your mermaids, but interesting.
Do people? Yeah, I don't know. Do people not like aliens? Because like I tried playing with aliens once, and I didn't like it very much. But then it was like I had one sim who was a half alien, and he was really smart. So I was like, oh well, maybe there's something to this. Maybe I should play with aliens more. The mermaid figure though surprises me, and I'll tell you why. Because I don't know if anyone else had this issue, but once I bought Island Paradise, my Sims 3 game basically stopped running for a while.
Oh yeah, that was how my Sims 3 career ended.
That was like I feel like that's common. I think that was the nail in the coffin for everybody.
Well,
Yeah.
Jess, you're a Sims 3 player primarily. What are your thoughts and feelings on how that affected your game?
Well, before I even downloaded it, I turned off everything but human and alien Sims, so I haven't really experienced the mermaid aspect of it.
Yeah.
Probably for the better.
Yeah, I heard in 3, like, I guess like I heard if you turn off houseboats and like you disable them for your world, it makes your game run faster. I haven't tried that yet, but I think it's worth a shot. It's just like now I don't really feel the need to play Sims 3 anymore because we're getting so many similar expansions for Sims 4, you know? It's like,
true.
What's the point?
Check out our episodes number 42 and 43 island living review that we did on the version in Sims 4. We talk a lot about kind of past iterations of island living. And me and Roxy talked for a very long time about dolphins, so 1.3 billion with a B, woohoos. I'm not sure how they calculate that, you creeps.
Yeah. And with
Interesting.
1.6 billion Sims, I really don't believe that because I really think there would be more woohoos than Sims.
And like maybe they're kind of presuming like, oh, well, most Sims are created by being born out of a woohoo, which that's not the way that I play, but who knows?
No. I do wonder how they calculated that. Like, are they looking at like some analytics or something? Because that's weird.
575 million Sim households, 37 million Sim weddings, and 173,000 Sim toddlers. Shout out to our love of toddlers on across our teams. Our varying feelings on children in the game.
Holy baby Jesus! I mean, I love raising Sim children. Don't get me wrong, but that is too many toddlers. I would, but to be fair, I've probably made like about 500 across all my games. So
Totally.
It's not. Yeah.
Let's see. We've got 65 million hours spent in the gallery with 41 million uploads and 825 million downloads. The infographic concludes with "Thank you to our players, #PlayWithLife." And God, I'm a little nostalgic with this. It's really
That's
nice. Yeah.
That's sweet. I like that.
If you want to use the #PlayWithLife challenge to chime in with your own experiences and share your joy and your memes, I know the EA team is kind of looking out for that content to kind of bring the community closer together. And if you want to also hashtag Under the Plumb Bob podcast or whatever variation of our crazy hashtag that exists, do that, and then we can give you some love as well. We got clothes. We got real life clothes. These are cute. These are hella cute. So yeah, it's these really cute shirt designs that EA Max has released as the 20th birthday collection. Like, these are straight up adorable.
Oh, those are cute. I love these.
Like, there's like really beautiful stylized plumb bobs with cow plants. You got your freezer bunny. I think
Let's woohoo.
I would wear that.
Oh man! Oh, I love the freezer bunny. That's so cute.
That's hysterical because it's so like it's an in joke.
Mm-hmm.
So you can only ever like get it if you get it.
If you know, you know, and if you don't, you don't.
And these Grimm designs are really cool. It's Grimm with his death pad.
Oh man, I might have to snag one of these. These are cute.
Yeah. And if you are just on a roll with buying clothes, we have merch too.
Yes.
You can check that out at undertheplumbob.com. For the birthday celebration, as part of our festivities, we also got a new update, which included the
hot tub.
Little hot tub that we got, exactly.
The hot tub that is dividing the fandom.
but much appreciated here at Under the Plum Bob. We also got some new music. So with, one of the little hidden Easter eggs in The Sims is that often there are some music within, when you click to play your jukebox or your earphones. Some music comes on, and sometimes it's Simlish versions of songs out here in the real world.
First up, we have Jekyll and Hyde, which is performed by Bishop Briggs, written by Sarah Grace McLachlan, Christine Flaherty, and Joel Little. That's cool.
And we have Take My Hand by Charlie XCX, written by Charlotte Aitchison, Ariel Rexscheid, I am butchering that name, I'm sure, and Justin Raisin.
We have We Are Young, performed by Fun and featuring Janelle Monáe, written by Nate Ruiz, I believe, Andrew Dost, Jack Antonoff, and Jeff Basker.
And Violet Star's Happy Hunting, performed by Janelle Monáe, written by Janelle Monáe Robinson, Nathaniel Irvin III, and Charles Joseph II.
All legitimate bops. I'm very interested in the We Are Young version that has Janelle Monáe in it.
Yes.
I love that song. I love Fun. I love her. I might be checking that out in game.
Yeah, that's interesting. The one thing I'm wondering with, these Simlish tracks, do like the artists actually go in and like sing the songs in Simlish?
Yeah.
Oh my god. Yeah. That is wild.
YouTube has videos of when they used to do it in I think Sim 3, I think it was Sims 2 actually.
Well, that's awesome because I want to see the Simlish performance of the Paramore song.
Yes.
Here's a funny anecdote. So I found Paramore literally through playing The Sims 2 because I heard that song and I was like, oh, that's a good song. Who sang that song? And then I went up and looked up the real version of the song and the rest is history. And now Paramore is my favorite band. So
there is video content that exists on YouTube of Lily Allen singing the song Smile. I want to say that's Sims 2. Listeners, correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah, that would have been Sims 2.
Yeah, that would have been the same time frame.
But it's such a bop in English and in Simlish, so
that's awesome.
Check that out. And it's literally her in a recording studio singing in Simlish and kind of being like, this is really fucking weird, but I'm having the
time. I can imagine, it would be weird. I mean, singing in a language that isn't your native language is hard enough, right? But then you're singing in a totally made up language that like you've never even really heard before, and it's like, what the fuck? So bananas, yeah. So for bug fixes, it looks like they fixed some crashes that occurred in build mode that were afflicting some of our players. And then the next thing they fixed was related to island living. They fixed an issue in which simoleons were not being granted after selling research data, which would have sucked. Sims with Child of the Island trait can now summon island elements, ask for judgment, and receive judgment properly. Maybe it was a good thing you weren't being judged, but hey, you do you. That's interesting. See, I haven't even done that yet. So I'm like, what's the judgment part? I don't even know what that is. Does like it put a curse on you or something if you don't do it right or what?
Yeah, again, I'll fall under that category of just not exploring island living as much as I could because I also haven't been playing in a hot minute myself.
Yep. The struggle is real. And then I find too that like when I play, I tend to just like fall back on doing the same activities and I never really do anything new because I'm like, oh, I'm going to make a perfect little happy family that has lesbians in it and like 6 kids and all these extended families and cousins and uncles and everybody just running around. And it's like, when in my life am I ever going to explore a new career or, go to a new area? Never. So
yeah, we had an episode pretty recently, episode 58, with Team Cowplant, they talked about who's your Mary Sue, and they kind of discussed like the typical go-to sim or family or game that they usually just sit down and make if they're starting a fresh game. So sounds like your Mary Sue includes Mrs. and Mrs. Mary Sue's.
Yes. I find that my typical play style, it's like either really high drama levels of play or it's like domestic bliss. There's zero in between. Either there's a dude in the family and he's sleeping with every woman up and down the block and his wife doesn't know about it, or it's a perfect little happy family and they've got like 8,000 kids and a picket fence, so
amen. Listen,
it's just zero middle ground, but you know what? That's
balance is overrated.
That's how it be sometimes.
So with the Sims turning 20, some non-typical news outlets have been doing some coverage on the game itself. I've seen a bunch of these here and there talking about, this is kind of a milestone anniversary across, outlets that don't typically cover gaming. For example, this first one we have is from the BBC News Round, and they do this cute little, quick history compilation of, from The Sims' humble beginnings to Will Wright and, his background. And it's a cute read. So check that out. We'll have a link in the description so you can check that out.
From that BBC article, they give us some facts. 20 years on, the game has sold around 200 million copies. It has been translated into 22 different languages and is one of the best-selling games series of all time. France loves The Sims so much that it created a postage stamp in 2005 as a tribute to the game. That's really cool.
I want that postage stamp. If anybody, who's listening, if you know where to find that stamp, let me know. If it's still around, I want one. So we will see.
Send us a picture. I wonder if it has like a plumb bob on it or something.
I bet it's cute. I'm sure. I mean, everything Sims is cute to me. So
Sims 3, since the release of Sims 3, it has sold more than 10 million copies to date, making it one of the best-selling PC games of all time. And that makes my heart a little happy because I do play that one so much.
Holy moly.
And The Sims 4 has recently passed 20 million unique players around the world, which is crazy.
That's nuts. Hasn't Sims 3 been out for over 10 years now, hasn't it?
Yeah, I think Sims 3 came out in 2009.
I believe it did. I think it came out in the spring of 2009, and this is kind of a funny story about Sims 3. So at the time, I was kind of transitioning away from playing Sims on my GameCube because I started with Sims 2 on the GameCube. Don't ask me why. It was just what I had and what I thought to play. And I transitioned over to Sims 3, and my first reaction, because I was a child at the time, I was like, where is all the pets and stuff? And I didn't kind of realize it was just the base game and that the stuff got added in as time went on. So I just kind of gave up on it. And then a couple of years later, I picked it back up, and I was like, wow, there's all this extra crap that I can add in here. Let me buy all of this right now. And, everything was happily ever after that. So, yay! But yeah, that's just a funny story. That's kind of how my Sims experience was when I was a kid. I was like, I want everything right now, and if I can't have it, I don't want to play it all. So
great segue setup, Jane. Speaking of console, the EA Sims 4 community posted a piece about kind of the new news for console and how console players can celebrate the 20th anniversary of the game. From February 4th to March 3rd, PlayStation Plus members will be able to download The Sims 4 Standard Edition for free. It's the perfect time to jump into the game and learn why so many people love playing with life. In addition, EA is also celebrating with sales on select packs in the PlayStation Store through March 4th. You can save up to 50% on many of the expansion packs, game packs, and stuff packs to expand your gameplay opportunities. That sounds like an ad for EA, but basically, in summary, go save money on the game. If you're looking to play, now's your shot, because it's a little bit cheaper, which is good.
That's kind of cool. See, and my thing is, too, with that, I would pick it up on console, because I do have PlayStation Plus, but it's like, I'm so used to playing on the computer with all my mods, I wouldn't be able to, I don't think. I'd be like, where are my mods? Where's Slice of Life? Where's Based Mental? Where's Wicked Whims? Why is there no porn on my screen? Like, what? Well... I don't know. I'm just revealing all of my weird tastes here, but like I said, I like realism in my game. So it's like if my Sims are out, having sex and then having like a post-coital cigarette, it's like, okay.
Jane,
awesome.
You're among friends. Yeah,
Yes.
tough to mod on the console, but the console players did receive that the 20th birthday hot tub as a gift, as did PC players.
Right.
So they got one too, which is pretty cool.
Everyone gets a hot tub.
You get a hot tub. You get a hot tub.
Tubs for everybody. Yeah, hot tubs for everybody. It's kind of like stoves for vanity, only it's more universal.
Indeed.
So the thing I'm thinking too, and this is another tangent, but this just came to mind, is there are some games on console that have actually introduced mods, and I think I've talked about this before, but the first one that comes to mind is Fallout 4. They did introduce some smaller mods on consoles, and I'm thinking like in the future with The Sims, maybe that's a thing that's going to happen where it's like, oh, you can have this mod, and this mod on your game because they're like officially endorsed by EA or whatever. Like if there was a partnership with a couple of creators or something.
I think that's my hope for the future of console and mods in general.
I think it would be good. And the other reason that I think so, and I don't mean to interrupt you, but I just wanted to squeeze this in here, is because, you look at these modders and they just bust their asses trying to get this code out to us every time there's an update. And it's like, they deserve to be paid for their work. They should be collaborating with EA because they work so hard. Yeah, I could never.
In a world where, and let me say this, I'm so not ready for Sims 5. I think 4
Me neither. No, thank you.
Needs more and more work. But in a world where they get to kind of restructure what the community looks like. Mm-hmm. I mean, 3 was like the Sims store, and you could purchase additional content. This time,
so you're saying like as in how the community interacts with each other, basically.
Well, so I mean, now with 4, you've got the gallery, and you can download free content. I think the upgrade for Sims 5 would be, here are some mods that are not, you don't buy them from EA, but they're EA sanctioned and sponsored.
And they'd have to fit a very strict set of requirements, I would imagine. I mean, they'd have to basically run like the base Sims game and be, family friendly. So
absolutely, yeah. So that would make
fair. That's totally fair. Like if I knew how to code, I would love to do something like that. I can't code for shit, but if I knew how to, I would be like, hey, can I work with you, EA, to put like some disabilities in the game? Maybe
I don't know. Which is so needed. And the beauty of 4 so far has been our ability as a community to add in what the game kind of misses.
Yeah.
So that's, again, I am not ready for Sims 5. My wallet cannot handle it.
Exactly.
But in the case that it allows for just another upgrade to the community, I think that would be the value add.
Right. I think, and I agree with what you said. I think my favorite thing about Sims 4, has been that it's so much, I feel so much more open with the whole modding process and like the kinds of things that you can add to your game. Like if I want to, I'm able to sit down and make a trait and add like a real life, psychological disorder. Like I made an anorexia trait for storytelling purposes because I had this save file based off of my novel a while back, and one of my characters is anorexic. So I was like, well, I need to somehow represent that in the game because otherwise, it's not really going to feel right. And I did it, and I tried to make it as least offensive as I could possibly do it, and it has like 300 downloads now, which is crazy. So, and my thinking is, there's some mods in the fandom too that I'm sure that have helped people with recovery from things like that, because if you can kind of express negative feelings in The Sims, I think sometimes it helps with like real life stuff. So
I agree. I think more mod partnerships in the future are the way to go.
That would be good because I'm thinking when I say mod partnerships, I'm thinking of, and if you know, but if you don't know, you should go look this up. But I'm thinking of somebody like Eleonora who works with the Fallout 4 team, Bethesda, to like bring her mods and make some of them official. And she makes these really nice player homes and stuff, and it's very cool. So, things like that would be really cool to see with future Sims games.
Nice.
Yeah.
All right. So let's move on and talk about the new styles.
Yep. So they released the few styles that are going to be in the arts and crafts and knitting style pack. And what are your thoughts on them? Because I'll say mine when you're.
I think, I'm looking at these. I'm sitting here looking at these. I like the boots. Those are cute. I think a lot of the tops and things are cute, but at the same time, it's like they're kind of, I don't know, grandparent-y or like eccentric artist-y, like they only fit a very particular subset of Sims, I feel. I mean, I'm sure I'll use them because they're cute, but it's like, I don't know. It's just, it has to appeal to a very certain kind of player,
So I think the idea was that it fit within the knitting, crafting.
Right. Because I guess I was reading, and I could be wrong on this, but I was reading, I guess you can craft your own clothes. Is that how that works?
That's what I'm hearing.
Yeah, that would be kind of cool.
Yeah.
That's a neat idea. I like that. I'm not mad about it. I mean, I'm not like thrilled by the art or anything. It doesn't really jump out at me like some past packs have, but it is very cute. And I can see it being used a lot on my elderly Sims because, it's knitting. So obviously they need their little sweaters.
Granny Colt.
Exactly. So like sidebar, what is the Granny Colt? Care to elaborate maybe in like one sentence?
Well, it's a abstract idea that I've yet to employ, but I think with the knitting pack coming to life, I plan on doing a version of the cult challenge by which your cult leader is an adorable grandmother.
Aww.
And instead of maliciously recruiting cult members, maybe she pulls either adults or kids into the mix and just like cares about them and like creates
a loving cult,
adorable community. Yeah, it's a loving cult that has snacks and weird sugar-free candy and lots of knitted goods.
I am that's so excited nice to start mine too. And going back to the styles, I was kind of disappointed because only one of the things I voted for actually made it, and the others aren't really knitty to me.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're kind of, I don't know. To me, they say like more, I don't know if this is the correct word, if I'm going for either more bohemian or more eccentric. I don't really know like what I'm trying to nail down here style-wise, but I'm trying to describe it and words are failing me, which is unusual. So, I don't know. I think it's nice. I'm not mad about it. I'm not thrilled about it, but I'm also not unhappy, if that makes sense. I'm kind of about it until I see more, so...
And I'd say it's probably a casualty of the fact that, like, this is really the first time that the community has been allowed to vote.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
So, like, I didn't get to vote. I'm a dope. But I started to vote and then closed the window and had to do something else and then missed the window. But I know I wanted that number 33, that, like, crop top-ish.
Ooh, yeah, that's cute. I'm not mad about that.
Caught my eye and I really liked it, and I really love number 70, the little baby onesie with the elephant thing.
I like 49. I like those pants, and then I also like the hat. That's number 12. That's cute.
The hat's adorable, and while it's not all like knit centric, I think it makes sense. I feel like had this not been the very first opportunity to get our voice heard on some stuff that goes into the game, I feel like people would have gone more with the theme of like, oh, it's a knitting pack.
Yeah, definitely. I think people, you give them free reign like this, and we've seen this in the modding community as well. It's like if you give people the ability to do, or at least try to do, whatever they want within a game, they're gonna go fucking bananas. Like that's just human nature.
So can't blame them.
I will say I voted for so many hats and so many sweaters.
Yeah, I mean, I don't blame you, because, I mean, hats and sweaters, to me, that's, like, right on brand with, like, a kind of knitting, crafty, theme pack, because, like, my aunt likes to crochet stuff, and she loves making hats. So
I'm realizing
like her
only now, that the Viking hat and beard knit thing didn't come through, which is a major bummer.
I'm sure so surprised for that one. I thought that would get voted in.
See, but the thing I think it's important to remember, somebody said this on Tumblr last night, so this isn't even my idea, but the thing I think is important to remember with these stuff packs and all this like community voted stuff is that there's all this art and assets and things floating around now, and I'm sure that some custom content creator who knows how to make things from scratch is going to take all this art and use it as inspiration and actually make the stuff that didn't make it into the pack.
Right, and I'm thinking even along the lines of that, future of mod partnerships, like if they have a vote like this somewhere down the line, maybe they say, well, here's the basic code that we put together for these items that we don't, based on your vote, we're not going to carry forward, but here it is as a free bit of content that the modders can go out and create it as they want. And here's the piece that you need to make it work in the game. I don't really know how computers work, but like that's the kind of thing. Like, what if we kept building that relationship with content creators?
And I think we're in an age of gaming just in general where developers are listening to players more.
Yeah.
And I think what it is, I think what it is that the internet is so prevalent now. It's like developers they're at the point where even if they wanted to ignore player feedback, they really can't because it's everywhere.
Yep.
Yeah. There's always somebody, let me put it this way. This is inelegant. This is not a very elegant way of expressing this, but there's always somebody bitching about something,
I mean, I'm guilty.
Which is fair and valid. People express your feelings. It's healthy. Keep a journal. I don't know.
And over the next couple of weeks, the concept artists who made the last batch of potential outfits, cast item, they're going to be creating more art for the next vote that is coming in early March. And you'll be able to help settle on the objects that the team moves forward with. So stay tuned for that.
Very cool.
There's a bit of news here that I wanted to point out. Video game related and team member related. Jane is a published author, if y'all didn't know.
Yeah, I now have my very first ever published article, which is an absolutely bananas sentence to say, and I'm still getting used to saying this out loud. But I wrote an article for Kotaku about my experiences gaming as a person with cerebral palsy and like what kind of games are easy for me, what kind of games are difficult, what things developers might do to make gaming more accessible to people. And I have gotten really overwhelmingly positive feedback. People are saying it's a very informative read, so I would encourage everybody to go check it out. Let me know what you think. I hate tooting my own horn and plugging my own shit, but I think this is for a good cause of increasing, everybody deserves the opportunity to try video games if they want to, and not everybody's always able to do that. So, it's important to bring awareness to accessibility in the games industry.
Jane, it's a great piece, and we're thrilled to congratulate you. Yes. It's out there. It's on Kotaku. That's a big deal.
Yeah.
It's been absolutely surreal. It's been a really good experience, though. I pitched the thing to this editor, and he got back to me, and he was wonderful to work with. I'm not going to name drop, but if he's listening to this episode, then he knows who he is. He was incredible to work with, and he was so nice. And it was just such a great first experience of, trying to freelance and pitch these pieces, because I have so many ideas for things. And it's like, I don't always know how to express them to people in a formal manner, because it's just it's so scary to just approach people and be like, hey, do you like this idea that I have? And it's like, I don't know. I feel like I don't want to say this has been my big break, because it hasn't brought me fame or riches or anything, but that was never the point in the first place. The point was just, this is something that I'm so passionate about, is making sure that gaming is accessible to absolutely everybody in some form or fashion. And that has enabled me to do that. So it's been just fantastic.
Yeah. And it's such an important message. We're so thrilled to say we know. You have to remember the little people when you get big and famous, Miss Kotaku. Seriously.
Yeah. Just remember us here Under the Plum Bob.
If you want to hear us talk more about visibility in gaming, particularly in The Sims, Jane joins a discussion, episode 16, back in the early days of the show, called Increasing Visibility. And we have that chat about, what the community can do to make games, The Sims particularly, more inclusive. So check that out, and check out Jane's article.
That episode, that was a whole thing, and I went off on a whole tangent, and but it was so great to get all that stuff off my chest, because I've been thinking about, just generally being inclusive with media is something that I think about all the time. I'm always thinking about, this piece of media, does it positively or negatively represent this group? And if so, how and why? And, I try to do a little nuanced analysis in my head, and I'm like, I'm not very, very smart all the time, but I'm kind of figuring this shit out as I get older. It's like, oh, not everything is fair. Not everything is equal. We're living in a kind of weird world where some people are valued more than others, and that's not cool. So,
yeah. But works like yours are absolutely contributing to that changing in the future. So be proud of yourself. This is a big deal.
I mean, that's good. Yeah. That's good to hear because that's all I wanted, and of course the nice bonus is that it's nice to just have my first publication credit and I can show this to people and be like, hey, this one time I wrote this article. This is how I write. Do you like it? Do you want more things from me? And I've already had a couple of people reach out to me and they've been like, hey, if you ever want to write for us, go ahead. And it's like, well, maybe this is getting the train moving. So we'll just have to see. But it's been very exciting and a really good experience. And I'm just glad to be able to kind of share it with everybody. It's been pretty crazy month over here.
Very cool.
Yeah. So our next thing in the script, this is kind of sad. There was a mod creator named Scumbumbo, and he was very well known for various script mods that kind of fixed the game and kind of cleaned it up a little bit. Unfortunately, he passed away. But there's a handful of very talented modders in the fandom that are making sure that his mods kind of stay updated and just keeping his legacy alive and recognizing what he's done for the game, which I think is very sweet. And this is again a nice example of like how gaming communities come together to help people. Like you hear all those, feel good stories about, this person had cancer, so this game company let him play the game early. I think that happened, I believe, with Smash Brothers a couple of years ago. There was a terminally ill fan who really wanted to play it. He was literally on his deathbed, and Nintendo was like, "Here, have a copy." So this is a kind of a side example of that kind of thing, where it's like something terrible happens in a fandom, and people kind of just come together. So,
yeah. If I could read the quote that fellow modder Basemental said, Basemental is one of the folks instrumental in kind of keeping the legacy of Scumbumbo alive. The quote, I think, is just really sweet. His coding and problem-solving skills were unparalleled, but furthermore, he was altruistic to the bone and willing to always lend a hand to anyone that needed help. And that with a dash of tongue-in-cheek sarcasm and great sense of humor. It is impossible to mod this game and not have heard of him. So, yeah, that's tough, but I hope that we get to, have Scumbumbo's mods live on because, I mean, they're excellent pieces of work. One of the first, actually Roxy's first ever installed mod was from Scumbumbo, don't wash dishes where you angry poop. So that there's that tongue-in-cheek sarcasm. And that was the fix for having your sim walk all the way to the bathroom upstairs to wash their dishes from the kitchen. Yeah, I don't know. It's very sweet. It's very sad. Our thoughts are with this modder and the mod community.
For sure, yeah, it's very sad. It's always sad when these things happen. It's like, oh, this sucks. This is a whole piece of the fandom that's just kind of gone. Somebody's so instrumental. One day they're here and then they're not, and it's weird.
All right. Any last thoughts on the state of things here as we celebrate the 20th year of this fabulous game that we all love so much?
I'm excited for the future of the franchise, and I also want to take a moment to, because I'm going to be retweeting this on my personal Twitter when it comes out, I wanted to thank everybody who has been reading and responding to my Kotaku article and sparking these conversations around game accessibility. It's been very heartwarming to see that and just nice to see, and I just wanted to take an opportunity to thank everyone verbally because I've been thanking people on Twitter left and right, but that's just not enough, so thank you.
I just can't wait for another 20 years of making people I know and killing other Sims in the game.
Killing people I know, committing casual murder. No, we're going to be probably in our 50s playing this this Sims game. Me.
Oh, I'll be playing this shit in a nursing home. Just bet.
Me in the retirement home.
We will foster the new generations.
Janine, can you help me boot up my computer? Grandma Melissa, don't you know that we all use our face Google Goggle contact lenses to use computers now? I know, but humor this old bird with her desktop computer.
I need to make my Sims woohoo.
Woohoo!
You children in your newfangled technology.
Yeah, me in a wheelchair in my little old granny shawl. Hashtag granny cult. wearing the Let's Woohoo t-shirt. Yeah, I mean, that the future can only get brighter. Hashtag Granny Cult. Hashtag Play with Life. And that brings us to the section where we tell you how you can reach out to us and leave us reviews and give us feedback. So we are PlumbobCast on Instagram and Twitter. We are Plumbob Podcast on Reddit. And we post on r/The Sims a lot as well. We are Under the Plumbob Podcast on Facebook and Tumblr. Just use your little fingers to tippity-tap that into the search bar. Or just go to our website, undertheplumbob.com. There's a contact form there, or you can email us directly at undertheplumbobpodcast@gmail.com. We are also on Twitch and YouTube, where we provide video content. Just search Under the Plumbob. We have episodes of this podcast starting to appear Mondays in 2020. So if you don't want to deal with Apple Podcast, or you don't have like an RSS feed stream that works for you, if you prefer to listen on your desktop, you can just find us on YouTube, full episodes. We'll have those in the new year. That's this year. We're in the new year. We also have weekly Twitch streams. Those happen Saturdays at 11:30 a.m. Eastern Time. We also have these After Dark streams. They happen on Friday nights at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. Those get a little spicy sometimes. And one of our Simizens, Dom, he's Nerdy Dude 247 on Twitter. He has stepped up and is our Sims console expert. He's got weekly Tumblr posts. You can definitely check those out. I recommend them. As a former non-console believer, check those out under the console. You should definitely, as we said above, subscribe, rate, and review. Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, TuneIn, Spotify, Google Play, Pandora, YouTube. Check us out on all of those places and give us your feedback, because we're all kind of learning as we go here.
There's a review that we got. It's 5 stars, and the person says, I was super excited to learn that there was a podcast out there where all things Sims were discussed. I rarely have someone in my friend group to gush about The Sims, so listening to Under the Plumbob Podcast is super entertaining. The teams make each episode interesting and fun. Well, good. While listening as I work or play games, I always learn something new about The Sims, whether it be about current events / updates, game mechanics, or mods. All the speakers are super funny and approachable. Aw, thank you. If you want a podcast that is great to listen to as you game, do chores, or homework, this is the podcast for you.
Yeah, that was a review from JC Frederi, Frederi, on Apple Podcasts from the US. Thank you so much, JC. This is just lovely to hear. It never gets old, and we love your feedback. We love when it's positive, but we love any and all feedback.
We have a Patreon, so make sure you follow our page, check out our options. Everybody who contributes gets an invite to our private Discord channel, so you too can be a fancy bitch and talk to us about all things.
So much fun on there.
We also have merch. You can check it out at our website, undertheplumbob.com. You can get sweatshirts, t-shirts, water bottles, mugs. The mugs are awesome. I have one myself. So thank you to everyone that contributed to writing and research. And thanks as always to the wonderful Sims fan sites out there that provide most of our research and news. Sims Community, Sims VIP, Carl, we love you, the Sims Wiki, Simmers Digest, and Iron Seagull on YouTube.
Also featured in this episode, we had the BBC co.uk/newsround with some of that article content, Kotaku, of course.
And last but definitely not least, thank you for listening and loving the game as much as we do. We're so grateful to share this fandom with you and have the enthusiastic support from the community.
Thank you, everyone, so much for joining us. We're going to head back to the real world. Oh, if you're listening, this is your reminder to save your game.
Yes, please save your game.
Stop what you're doing right now and hit save.
Do it. Thanks, everybody. We'll talk to you next time. Bye.
Bye.
Badish. Dag dag.